I'm from Kentucky, y'all. So we say
I'm
things
from
a bit
Kentucky,
funny.
y'all.
So he's gonna take you back to the past to play the shitty games that suck ass. He'd rather have a buffalo take a diarrhea dump in his ear. He'd rather eat the rotten asshole of a roadkill skunk and down it with beer.
Why
He's
do you
the
know?
angriest gamer you've ever heard. He's the angry Nintendo nerd. He's the angry Atari Sega nerd. He's the angry video game nerd. Y'all got mad at me the last time for doing the nostalgia critic. So now we're now we're
Mad
trying
at
to.
you again for doing Angry Video Game Nerd.
Arguably more mad.
This is something new.
You could have just said, "Hey, all Scott here."
Yeah.
I don't watch that. I don't watch that young boy. I don't.
That's the worst crime you've committed.
I love Scott. How could you?
I do not watch Scott the Waz.
Scott's
The worst
great.
part is that whole intro is going to be in the episode. I promise. Hey, everybody! Welcome back to Has to Do with Spider-Man. I think it's been a minute, and we're very excited to bring you this latest episode. My name is Jarrett.
I'm Peyton.
And I'm Noah.
Noah, you got a big one for us today.
It's been ages, dude.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been a while.
Been
Since
a
I first
while.
saw you. It's been a while.
What has it been like since August? Since Big Wheel?
Yeah, since the beginning of Phase 2.
That's insane. I got married in between that time.
Yeah.
It has been like over half a year since your last episode.
Big Wheel was my last pitch as a virgin. And so
Cut that.
Cut
What the
that
hell?
one out. Cut that
We did
one.
not. No. No.
Jonah, update the wiki to say Noah was a virgin
Do not-
up until August.
do not update the wiki. No, but it has been ages since my last pitch. It took me a long time to like figure out what I actually wanted this to be about because I just felt like I was so out of practice by the time I actually was putting words to the paper.
Well, tell us a little bit what you've got here for us.
Okay, so we are finishing up kind of the clone trilogy, I guess.
I guess it's a trilogy, yeah.
Yeah.
So Jarrett wrote for Ben Reilly, Hayden wrote for Jessica Drew, and now I am writing for the third most famous of the Peter Parker clones, that being Cain, who is well known to be the most anti-heroic of the three, except for like nowadays, because Ben is kind of a villain now.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. I mean, I do, but I don't know like why.
When it came to trying to figure out what to write for Cain, this actually, the whole pitch kind of had an identity once I figured out what the villain was going to be. Because I really had no idea what Cain was going to do, how what obstacles he was going to face, whether or not he was going to be a full villain, whether or not he was going to be more of an anti-hero. And it took me so long to know what the story was going to be until I found the villain. And I'm not going to say who he is right now. You'll find out. But once I had that all figured out, the rest of the story just kind of fell into place. And it is very exciting. And I'm very, very proud of what I came up with here today. Similar to Solo, and Peyton was talking about how it was such a personal piece, or at least dealt with very personal topics to him. This pitch also deals with very personal topics for myself that I have not yet touched on in the podcast yet.
Oh no. Are we in for another drag through the emotional muck?
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
Yes! Yes! So there are a lot of people that are really intrigued by this premise. We got a lot of responses on the Discord. We didn't get, I don't think we actually had any comments on the Blue Sky, and I can't remember if we made a post on Instagram or not about it, but we did get a lot of predictions on the Discord for this pitch in particular. I think because a lot of people know who Cain is. So Typus and Neon on the Discord said that they think that this film will fully commit to the all of the power, none of the responsibility tagline for the 2012 Scarlet Spider series. There was another prediction that was kind of similar to that about Halloween Jack said that Cain is going to start off wearing the edgy 90s outfit with the tattered purple cape, but by the third act he's going to get that red and black costume from that 2012 Christopher Yost series. So there's a lot of discussion specifically about that whole era of the Scarlet Spider or Cain of getting that cool costume and also the whole tagline.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Noah, what do you think about that?
I understand that being a thought for inspiration that I would pull from, but I've got to say, really none of the predictions are close.
Oh no. Oh no. Well, we can still go through them. Jonah said that they think we're going to get a big team up with the 3 spider clones. But that team up, y'all, is set to happen in just a few months. Our big crossover is the maximum clonage. So that, I don't know, maybe Noah will surprise us.
Yeah, we'll see.
Comic Fan Studio predicted that Cain is going to face Doc Ock.
Okay.
And then Sylvie thinks that Miles Warren is going to play an interesting role in this too, and possibly give us some juicy body horror, along with maybe Cain developing some sympathy or pity for Warren when he notices Warren's crazy mutations. Miles Warren, it's kind of funny. I think Miles Warren has more appearances than any other character in our whole story.
I think that's correct, and he will be here. Yeah.
Ooh,
Wow.
intriguing.
Yeah, it's just kind of come with him being a recurring character for this phase. He's peppered throughout almost the entirety of phase 2 at this point. So by that logic, yeah, he has the most appearances, I'm sure.
And then of course Luke comes in with a very serious prediction. Luke believes that we've already met Cain by this point because we've seen a few spider-like figures like Tarantula and Doppelganger who could be this additional spider clone as a surprise twist. They will be the messed up clone, and this is going to end being a more or less monster movie exploration of the character, asking questions like, is a mirror of a person their opposite or just an inversion? We're going to see Cain struggling to figure out who he is, rejecting his clone source of Peter Parker, rejecting being a henchman and a tool, and I think ultimately moving into a new direction, going to dental college and changing his name to Dr. Isaac Yakum. That's a wrestling reference to the wrestler Cain.
Thank you, Luke.
I think Luke has it spot on.
Yeah, that's the closest one, frankly.
But yeah,
I'm sure it's the wrestling bit.
It is, absolutely. I think we should get into this.
I would love to.
I want to know the food question.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The
What was
food
I eating?
and also who the director is.
Yes,
Okay.
because we know you wrote all of this in one day. So what were you eating during that one evening when you wrote 80 pages?
I ate a lot of food during the creation of Cain. But what I just made right before joining the podcast, when I was really thinking about any last minute additions or anything, was homemade fried chicken sandwiches, and they were very tasty. Nashville hot chicken, actually.
Ooh.
Oof.
Were they medium rare?
Just real bloody. Yeah.
Good.
Oh.
Good. That's how chicken's supposed to be. Pink in the
If
middle.
If you hear any odd sounds during the production, that is the chicken fighting back.
You won't. It'll be cut out, hopefully.
No. We got no. We got to keep it in.
Do we?
We need the chicken lip smacking compilation where all of the bits of Andy cuts out are all compacted into like 30 seconds of just
Here.
Okay, let's get into this. Who was your director? Who's your director for this story?
I don't freaking know, man.
Ryan Johnson. Ryan Johnson
Evil.
is your director.
We could say, I don't know if it would be Ryan. One of my big influences for two of my big influences actually was an obscure series from the 90s called Spider-Man Lost Days, which followed Ben and Cain during like a walkabout period. And then Wake Up Dead Man by Ryan Johnson, which I loved back when it came out last year. And so it became kind of a touchstone piece once I figured out what I was going to be writing. So preliminarily, let's say Ryan.
Okay. If a better director comes to my mind, I'll inform you.
Absolutely. Okay. You guys ready?
Let's dive in.
I'm ready.
Submitted for the approval of Sony Picture Studios.
Yes.
The Mark of Kaine. Story by Noah, based on the Marvel Comics character created by Terry Kavanagh and Stephen Butler. Act 1. Black. Complete silence. The silence is broken by the whirring of a machine and the bubbling of test tubes. The screen, still dark, shows us nothing. We only hear these noises, but muted, as if we are submerged in water.
I was born in a bottle.
Slowly, as if blinking, we see through Kane's POV. We float in a tank of green liquid, staring out into a lab. Distorted figures mill about the room. One, Hugh Grant's Miles Warren, taps the glass surrounding us with a devilish grin.
I floated there for a long time. It's the only time I've ever known peace.
We jump as there is a sound of flushing, and the green liquid starts to sink down. Out of the glass, still distorted, Warren prepares an observation table. This is meant for us.
But I don't think peace is meant for someone like me.
Are you sure you believe that? That'd make this talk awful short.
I don't know.
Okay, we could pause here.
Okay. Real quick, there is one Patreon prediction, and that comes from Jonah. He says, I feel like in Cain, the person he is talking to is a psychologist, or maybe Anna Maria Marconi from Dr. Octopus.
I haven't seen Anna Maria in a bit.
Yeah, we have
She
not.
was last seen in Myth Predictors 1.
Yeah.
Neither of those.
Yep, let's just continue. Good prediction, though.
Smash cut to a man falling through a canopy of evergreen trees. The man crashes through branches as leaves swirl around him, grunting with every impact. The man lands hard on his back, wincing with pain. He sits up, dazed. He looks like Jacob Timothy Manouns Peter Parker, but slightly deformed. His face is speckled with patchwork chemical burns. His left eye is glassy, and a messy beard is starting to come in around his sideburns, and nowhere else. His clothing, an old t-shirt and pair of jeans, are starting to come apart at the seams. He picks a leaf out of his hair and then curls his knees close to his chest. He heaves, rocking back and forth. For him, it feels like the sky is still spinning. For a time, the only thing we can hear is his heavy breathing. Cut to the man walking through the forest. The camera is pulled far back, observing the walk from a distance. We hear bird calls and the rustling of leaves, but very little else. It is painfully quiet. The man marches through woods, across a river, and into a field of high grass. He runs his fingers through the grass, like Gladiator, before reaching up to touch the odd scars webbing his face. He shivers. After walking for some time, he stumbles out of the woods onto a little cliff, overlooking a small Midwestern town. Population 8,000. Pictured exactly as you'd expect a small town to look like. The man takes a deep breath. The sun beats down on the pavement as the man walks into town. Dust kicked up from passing cars blow into his face as he marches quietly along. He wanders down Main Street, stumbling as he goes. It is suspiciously quiet, with no sound being made except for that of his growling stomach. He tries to enter a gas station, but the doors are locked and the lights are off. He tries the same at a small diner. Plain Good is the name. No one seems to be home. Grasping the diner's door handles, his eyes narrow and his fists start to clench. He hears something behind him. Music. He lets go of the handles to follow the music, leaving behind visible dents in the metal. The sound is, to the man's surprise, hymn music. Around the corner, at the edge of the city square, is a church. First Baptist Church of Plainview, Ohio. It is, like the town, exactly what you'd expect a Midwestern church building to be. White building, black roof, tall steeple. Pretty small, all things considered. The man enters the building surreptitiously, following the noise. The hymn is Down at the Cross Where My Savior Died, a classic. He nervously moves through the breezeway to the sanctuary, where he steps inside. It seems to the man like the town's entire population is here for the service. Men and women, young and old, sing along to the organ's melody, praising God, he assumes. The man hasn't been to a service like this in quite some time, if ever. Why is he here? He sits in the back room and pulls his dirty clothes around him, trying to blend into the shadows. As the music ends, the pastor steps up to the pulpit. He wears a full suit with a bright blue tie, with long blonde hair and a ponytail and a mustache to match. Think Rustin Cole from True Detective. The preacher is played by Sam Rockwell.
Beautiful work, friends. Man, Down at the Cross is one of my favorites. Give the Lord and yourselves a hand, why don't ya?
The congregation claps. Our protagonist shifts in his seat.
Y'all can be seated as we return to the series we've been in for a few weeks now, The Road to Redemption. Can we put that up on the screen?
The projector screen behind the pastor switches to a badly pieced together PowerPoint mishmash of a road with a stick man carrying a cross. The congregation chuckles.
Yeah, I'm a pastor, not a graphic designer. I'll just have to ask Isabella to put it together for me next time she gets back from her fancy kid in NYC.
The pastor opens his Bible.
Now, everybody knows John 3:16. If there was anything close to a poster verse of the Bible, that'd be it. Come on, say it with me. For God so loved the world that he gave his one and only Son, that whosoever believes in me shall not perish but have eternal life. Beautiful verse, beautiful message. But who knows first John 3:16? Anyone? I'll help you out. This is how we know what love is. Jesus Christ laid down his life for us. We ought to lay down our lives for our brothers and sisters.
Our protagonist in the back pew sits forward at this. He can't be sure, but he thinks the pastor might have caught his eye.
We need to be redeemed from a lot of things. Sin permeates this place, this world. Redemption comes through Christ, and that's the truth. One way through. But it's in that example, with Christ's sacrifice, that we know what we are supposed to do for others. Lay down our lives. Sounds extreme, doesn't it? It shouldn't. It's the example we are to follow. Christ gives us redemption through his blood. We lead others to Christ through ours.
The man in the back has been pulled in. He seems desperate for what is being said. As the service ends, the man tries to slip away. That is, until a hand rests on his shoulder. The pastor.
Easy, friend. You don't want to rush out so fast. Believe me, it's better to let the crowd die down before getting a bite at the diner.
Oh, it's good to know, Father. Pastor.
Pastor's fine.
He leads the young man outside, walking down the church's steps.
What brings you here, son?
I don't know. Just ended up here. Hungry.
I understand. It can be tricky to get a bite to eat.
As the pastor shakes hands with the exiting congregants, he scans Main Street and watches the crowd file out.
Say, would you like to grab that bite with me?
Sir?
I've got this stellar taco soup in the fridge right now that I've been dying to share. Carol Jennings gave me the recipe.
On cue, he nods to an older woman exiting the church. Carol waves back sweetly, but looks directly at the young man with an implacable expression.
I'd be happy to have you over, Mr.
The young man thinks for a moment. It seems difficult for him to answer this question. With an effort, he decides.
Cain. My name is Cain.
The pastor's eyes widen before a kindly, knowing smile crosses his face.
Well, Cain, you're in good company. You can call me Pastor Judas. The Lord's got a funny sense of humor, doesn't he?
Humor's one word for it.
Cain's vision spins. Dunked in viscous liquid, thrown to the ground, poked with needles, and glared at by a face that looks suspiciously like his own. He awakes at a small dining room table with a spoon in his hand and steaming taco soup in front of him. Half of it has already been eaten.
It's good, isn't it? I'm usually not one for spice, but that cayenne really hits the spot.
Cain nods, unsure, before taking a bite. Sure enough, it's delicious, and without much decorum, he wolfs down the rest.
How long it's been since you last ate, son?
Cain wipes his mouth.
I can't say for sure, Pastor. Few days. Week, maybe?
Well, I'm sorry to hear that. As long as you don't make yourself sick, you're welcome to anything in the pantry.
Cain immediately sits up and dashes to the pantry, searching for more food. He finds a sleeve of saltines and nearly stuffs the whole thing into his mouth.
Good choice. I don't like those much anyways.
As he passes the fridge, the young man catches his reflection in the metal. He touches his scars gingerly and brushes the side of his face untouched by burns. His brow furrows.
If you don't mind me asking, what brings you to Plainview, Mr. Cain?
An accident.
Do you mean an accident got you stuck here, or an accident forced you to come here?
Cain glares.
Now, I don't mean to pry. I'm the pastor of this town. I need to know who all comes in and out of here to, well, protect the flock.
I don't want to hurt anyone.
Didn't say you did.
I didn't want to hurt anyone.
There's a pounding in Cain's head as he stumbles and catches himself on the table. Judas stands up and puts his hand on his shoulder.
Easy, friend, easy.
Cain breathes deeply, gritting his teeth as he does. Slowly, the pounding fades. He stands up straight, eyes wet with tears.
That's right, son. It's been a long day for you, it seems.
Scanning his kitchen and living room, Judas disappears for a moment and returns with a blanket.
What you need right now, more than anything else, is a good rest. You're welcome to stay here for as long as you need to get back on your feet. Is that all right with you?
Yes, sir, Pastor. Thank you.
As Cain takes the blanket and goes to collapse on Judas's couch, Judas glances at his table. Cain's grip has completely mangled this in. Judas slowly raises an eyebrow. Fading out, we fade in to Cain rising from the operating table. Everything is blurry. Bright fluorescent lights beat down on the young man, along with a deep pulsing hum that would drive you mad if you listened to it for too long. Cain glances behind himself, seeing 4 empty pods behind him. Each is labeled 1, 2, 3, and 4. He winces in pain, removing little surgeon suction cup thingies from his chest. He feels around his torso, surprised to find none of the burn scars that originally lanced his body. He smiles before his hands touch his forehead. You find the top of his head removed, brain open to the world. Cain screams in surprise before falling off of the table and into a void. He lands hard. No longer shirtless, he wears Spider-Man's red and blue outfit, maskless. He stands on a piece of floating rubble in black abyss. He is surrounded by 4 other pillars. On each stands his parents and guardian figures, Richard and Mary, and his aunt and uncle, May and Ben. Cain watches as May and Mary are blown apart and put back together like a 3D video on. Similarly, Richard is shot and crumples before grotesquely rewinding to the same position. Finally, Ben is skewered by some kind of blade, mouthing, "I love you," over and over. The voice of Otto Octavius thunders across the screen. "Deliver us from evil. Amen." Metallic tentacles erupt from the foreheads of each of Cain's parental figures, grabbing his limbs. He struggles against them, but it is not enough. He is torn to pieces in a shower of black spiders. The tubes from the lab rise from the ground. From Cain's writhing torso rises the black-suited Spider-Man, swinging away into the darkness. A green, clawed hand descends from the heavens, plucking each dismembered limb from the ground and throwing them into the tubes. Each limb becomes their own Peter Parker. In one case, Jessica Drew. But Cain's tube splits in the process. The vision shatters, spilling green liquid all throughout the void. Cain awakens, screaming. It is now night. He is alone in Judas's living room. He draws his knees to his chest, rocking back and forth. He vomits onto the ground. Smash cut, eggs on a flat top. Cain sits with Judas at Plain Good, scarfing down a plate piled high with eggs, sausage, and bacon. One of Plain Good's servers gives a puzzled look at the malformed door handle. The young man is wearing a brand new shirt and pair of jeans. The jeans still have the tag on them.
I'll be happy to host you, of course, just as long as you're able to find your own feet.
I appreciate that, Pastor.
You're welcome to explore the town, but you might get some odd looks here and there. I love my flock, but they can be suspicious of newcomers. In fact, my next series will be about loving the Samaritan among you.
Judas laughs at his own joke and waves to a couple across the diner.
I couldn't help noticing that you had a rough night, son.
Cain swallows, staring out the diner window. The town, empty during the service, is now bustling with rural life.
I'm getting over it.
If you don't mind my saying so, you need help. You're in a bad state, Cain. I want to put you back on the right path. Can't very well preach on Christian hospitality if I'm not practicing it.
Memories flash once again through Cain's vision, now intermixed with the vision from last night. 4 pots glow green.
What is redemption?
Well, that's a big question. Now, the way I see it, redemption is turning away from the man you were into the man you need to be. The good Lord calls us to better things, to be better people. We give ourselves to God, and in turn give ourselves back to our community, our churches.
Vague.
Personal redemption often seems vague. What do we turn away from? Our fears? Our sins? Our pain? What would fix you, son?
Not existing in the first place.
Well, you're stuck here now. In the present moment, think of what brings you back to yourself. What can make you whole? What can make you your own person?
There's something in Judas's words. Cain thinks that there might have been a flash in the man's gaze.
Can you help me?
Come to my office at the church around 5. We'll find out who you truly are, Mr. Cain.
Judas calls back to the counter.
Okay, Brett. He's in your hands now.
Yes, sir. Cain looks between the 2 men, unsure.
You'll need something to keep you occupied during your time in town. Brett has graciously agreed to be your mentor during this time.
Brett Fishbach walks around the counter, wiping his hands on a towel. He grabs Cain's hand and shakes it vigorously. We're glad to have you, Cain. You'll be a fry cook in no time. Cain, wide-eyed, shakes his head fearfully, but Judas pays no attention.
5 o'clock, my brother.
Judas rises, leaving a wad of cash on the table as a tip. Cain notes that it is very generous for a meal this size. He sits alone and no longer hungry. Brett, played by Eric Allen Kramer, who you'd know as Bob Duncan on Good Luck Charlie,
Oh my god.
slaps Cain on the back. I'm sure you've seen it by now. Pastor Judas? Now there's a good man. Now, up and at him. Pulled along against his will, Cain is made to wear an apron and one of those little steak and shake caps. He tries his hardest to keep his head down, but it's hard to ignore his burn scars. He mops the floors and washes dishes, but is eventually forced to man the register. Most people avoid eye contact with him, except for a young boy. He peeks around the counter.
I'm Matthew.
Cain nods.
You're supposed to say your name back.
Cain ignores him.
You're rude. What's up with your face?
Cain growls at the boy, who is unperturbed.
You should fix that. You look like Shredder from Super Turtles.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, honey.
The boy's mother tries to usher him away. She does not look Cain in the eye.
Sorry, young man. You know how kids can be.
Cain nods again and watches them leave. Brett walks up to him. They'll get used to you. Pastor always says it's not the outside that makes a man. It's the stuff on the inside. It'll take some time. Cain massages his temples as the screech starts up again. Hey, bud, you alright? The sound increases. You alright? Cain finishes his shift, looking miserable. The sun is beginning to set. Leaving the diner with a nod to the counter staff, Cain puts his hands in his pockets and tries to stick to the shadows. Even as the workday ends, Plainview is alive with activity. The people of the town fill Main Street, leaving work and heading home. Cain is uncomfortable in this crowd. Unfortunately, while keeping his head down, he bumps into someone, knocking the person to the ground. Cain blushes when he sees that it is an older woman. He immediately reaches down to help her up.
Oh, I'm sorry, ma'am.
The old woman laughs. She is played by Joan Cusack, as bubbly as can be. A far cry from the more subdued encounter from yesterday.
Oh, don't worry about it, dear. I'm a bit sturdier than I look.
She reaches down and picks up an envelope.
Church tithe and all. If you don't mind, are you the young boy who visited First Baptist yesterday?
Cain shrugs, sees her smiling face, and nods.
Well, it's lovely to have you. You stay just as long as you like. I know the pastor can be a little bit domineering, but if you ever need someone else to talk to, just stop by.
The woman walks off before smacking her head in embarrassment.
My goodness, and here I am inviting you over without giving you my name or nothing. My name's Carol Jennings, sweetie. I'm at the little yellow house on Cherry Street with the red picket fences. You can't miss it.
Carol strolls off with a spring in her step. Cain's eyes narrow before he turns towards the church, just across the street. Judas is waiting for Cain at the front door when he arrives. He ushers Cain through the foyer into his office. A cramped room, but cozy, mainly taken up by Judas's desk, chair, and couch. Many odd rocks and geodes line his shelves, along with a marvelously ornate Bible just above his office chair.
Geology is a special interest of mine. I've been a lot of places, seen a lot of people. They're little bits of my homes away from home.
He motions for Cain to sit at the couch, before taking his place behind the desk.
Before we begin, how was your first day of work?
Greasy.
Oh, yeah. The name might be plain good, but the grease makes you feel like you're swimming in a swamp.
Judas chuckles, again pleased with himself. Cain stretches and then lays with his head on one arm of the couch.
Oh, son, I'm no therapist. No need to...
I've seen too many people today. The ceiling is a lot more exciting right now, trust me.
Fair enough.
A clock on Judas's shelf ticks. Pastor clears his throat.
So, you asked for my help.
I did.
The Lord may know all, but us, his humble servants, need a little more to work with. You'll have to be okay with letting me in. Is that all right?
Cain thinks. Flashes of his past cloud his vision. He grimaces.
Yes, Pastor.
Judas takes a breath, lets it out, and a small smile creeps along his face.
I'm glad to hear it.
Judas grabs his ornate Bible from the shelf and flips through the pages.
You'll find that I have a unique touch when it comes to dealing with past sins and regrets. I don't think it's possible to overcome your demons if you aren't willing to face them. What would those demons be?
Silence.
My father.
Dr. Warren, with a twisted grin and a syringe in his hand, flashes across the screen. The image fades, replaced by Judas.
This is a common fear. A hard man?
Evil.
Cain is strapped to the operating table. The cloning pods bubble.
Did he hurt you?
Yes.
Cain emerges from the cloning pod, nude. This is obviously obscured. There are only 2 pods at the moment. He is greeted by Dr. Miles Warren, who immediately begins examining every inch of his body. Welcome to the world, number 2. You will be such an asset to... Wait. Other scientists in the room, scribbling on clipboards, pause. He's defective, the scientists question him. Look! Warren snatches Two's face between his hand and points at Cain's left eye. Noting the scientist's confusion, Warren grabs a tablet from a nearby table and holds up a picture of Peter Parker. Comparing the two, Cain's left eyelid droops slightly. We've clearly failed.
What does defective mean?
His first word's incredible, and it's a question about how wrong he is. Lovely. Folks, this one will not work.
This one?
From behind the scientist, another young man emerges, looking identical to the portrait of Peter Parker. 2, meet your older brother. 1.
Do we get rid of him?
Warren pushes 2 aside. Might as well keep him. The genetic material will still be good. Let's bulk him up, make him strong. Salvage him later. Fatten him like a Christmas pig. Warren leads the scientists away. 1 calmly walks into his pod, which closes with a shwoosh. 2 is alone.
What about me?
Darkness begins to enclose the clone, as his face molds into the Cain we know. 1's pod rises into the heavens, glowing with a golden light. Pods 3 and 4 erupt out of the ground, meeting 1's in the sky. A green, smoky tendril shoots out of 2's pod and wraps around Cain, pulling him deep inside. He drops. Down, down, down he falls, landing in a hall of mirrors. As he looks through each mirror, he first sees Spider-Man in the classic red and blue. The hero matches Cain's movement for a time, before leaping backwards, pursued by the shambling corpses of his loved ones. Horrified, Cain turns towards the next mirror, meeting the eyes of Nicole Mains's Jessica Drew. She sees right past her brother, leaping over his head as her mirror shatters. Cain covers his head to avoid the debris, and at his feet sees a blonde clone, Ben Reilly, laughing at Cain before being hugged by Uncle Ben. Once more, Cain turns and is met with 1. Calm, stern, settled within himself. Cain glares at the reflection but falls back as 1's eyes and chest begin to gush blood. A tidal wave of red liquid roars through the mirror, nearly on top of Cain. He wakes up. He holds his chest, breathing heavily. Judas is still at his desk, writing down notes on a notepad.
And your older brother, he was your father's favorite?
Cain scrambles to his feet.
How did you know about my brother?
You just told me.
No, I was asleep. I fell asleep.
Then you're a very talkative sleeper.
How?
Judas leans forward, steepling his fingers.
You, my friend, have been through far too much in your youth already. It's amazing that you're still standing here today.
But
these issues, stemming from your father, they're a corruption of what is right, a lie from the enemy. By giving us horrible examples of what a father should be, he leads us to distrust God our Father, and even those we find in authority over us. I implore you to not let Dr. Warren's example keep you from trusting again, especially when we have your best interests in mind.
Judas rises, puts a hand on Cain's shoulder, and leads him towards the door.
I want to keep working with you as often as we can manage it. I believe it was Providence that dropped you into Plainview, Cain. God is looking out for you. I hope you can see that.
Judas and Cain leave the church and the 2 return to Judas's home. As Judas moves about the house preparing dinner, Cain sits, quietly stunned, in the living room.
What did I say?
In the kitchen, Judas sings a swingy version of This Little Light of Mine, dancing across the floor. He sets a plate of spaghetti on the table just as he sings, Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Let's eat.
End of Act 1.
Damn it, Noah,
Okay.
This is good. Oh my gosh, this is good. I really enjoyed this.
How's it going?
Jared's
How's it
stunned.
going?
Jared is stunned.
This is cool.
So immediately I'm thinking a little bit about, I've known you for years. I've known you for almost a decade at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of what you've been discussing in this script is like, if I was asked, like, to talk about Noah, describe some of Noah's traits, I would probably mention how closely you hold your faith to your heart. And so it's really interesting reading this and kind of seeing a lot of that stuff come through in the script and seeing this, but at the same time, it's not like it it's not like preachy, you know what I mean? Like it's not like I know you. And so like a lot of the stuff that's being found in the script, such as the small town and all the other stuff, very much I can feel your background speaking through the script. But it's not like we're getting God's Not Dead Spider-Man edition, you know?
That is
It's
100% what I wanted to avoid.
it's very engaging because it's like this is grappling so much with the past of Peter Parker as much as it's dealing with the present of Cain. And this character of Pastor Judas, I'm pretty confident I know who this is. And also, are all these characters named after the people from the Spider-Man newspaper strips?
Some of them are.
Because I know Carol Jennings is.
Others that we will see are named after side characters from the Spider-Man Lost Days.
Cool.
And yeah, so
one name you kind of threw the last name in, it wasn't in the script. You threw Fishbach in at the end of the the restaurant guy.
Oh, yes.
What was that for?
That is a name taken from another side character of Spider-Man that we'll meet who the name is actually for in a bit.
Okay.
But not Markiplier.
Oh.
But yes, so if you know who Judas is, this is where the story came from. And it came together kind of as soon as I had read Lost Days, and then some of the older 90s stories featuring Cain, and especially once I had the names compared. Then I was like, okay, I have never written something so explicitly about faith and kind of the like religion as in context of a superhero story like this. So I wanted that to be a challenge because, like you said, that's a big part of my life. I just haven't really talked about that on the podcast. And so this is incredibly new for me, but also, like I said, incredibly personal and kind of dealing with the question of what does faith look like in this series? What does it look like for someone like Cain? What does church hurt look like in this series? And so I'm glad you guys are liking it.
It's hitting. I think what's also really interesting is we've unintentionally so obviously there's been the Paya trilogy of life falling apart. There's been the Clone Saga trilogy, and now there's been the Rule the Rule trilogy all happening in phase 2 with like slight overlap because
the what trilogy?
The Rule, like RURAL, because we
rural.
Had rural.
Yeah, the rural trilogy.
I'm from Kentucky, y'all. So we say
I'm
things
from
a bit
Kentucky,
funny.
y'all.
So, but we've had Shocker, Into the Earth, and then Solo, and now this with very distinct, but also like kind of interesting country towns.
Yeah,
I think that's pretty cool.
That's fascinating how this happened like this.
The latter half of phase 2 is just like the first half of phase 2 where it's like, okay, yeah, we had we had Peter and Prowler, so all the budget went there, and now you got to fill the remaining half of phase 2 with like country stories. Very low key, very small.
Well, I'm from Missouri, and so like this is kind of my first time really writing what I know, but with a very specific twist. And you guys ready to go into Act 2?
I do have a question, and we can cut this out if this doesn't quite fit. This isn't... the visions get very surreal, which are excellent, by the way, so far. Would you say that this is... I doubt you would really call this a horror.
There are psychological horror elements that are built into this from the outset, pretty much.
I'm not I'm not terribly familiar with this director's work, but the first thing that I think of when I'm kind of getting this vibe is Midnight Mass, directed by Mike Flanagan.
Ooh, I can
Ooh.
see that.
That,
Dude,
yeah.
no, I know who this could be. Scott Derrickson.
Scott Derrickson.
He was the director of the first Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
And Black Phone.
And Black Phone. He would be perfect for this. He does horror, he does psychological horror, he's been in superhero films.
The crazy visions in the first Doctor Strange, the visual
Yeah,
effects, I can definitely
exactly.
see playing into these senses of visions.
He's also a professing Christian director who has talked about doing films with, like, horror films with his faith and stuff. He'd be perfect for this.
Okay, I like that.
Canonically directed by Scott Derrickson.
Do we want to get into
Are we
Act
ready?
2? I like that Scott Derrickson casting for director.
Okay.
I'm ready.
Act 2. Fade in. The street opposite Plain Good. A car whizzes past the storefront, inside of which we can see Cain at the counter, glancing back and forth from the flat top to the television on the wall. Good Morning America plays on the television. Michael Strahan says,
Man, I don't know what to tell you. Everybody knows the morning commute here is awful, but it's gotten a lot tougher when you have to dodge lampposts and lava flows.
Laura Spencer says,
Don't I know it? I was 30 minutes late this morning after the parking garage was blocked by another spiderweb.
George Stephanopoulos says, Hey, it could be a lot worse. That wall of lava, it would have melted my car and me in it if Rocket Racer hadn't flown in, redirected the flow, and saved the whole sidewalk. Robin Roberts says,
We're happy to have you here today, George. Hell or high lava, as they say. We go to our on-the-ground coverage. How's everything holding up?
The screen cuts to a news reporter standing next to Big Wheel, Rocket Racer, and the black-suited Spider-Man. Cain sees Spider-Man and flinches.
Thanks, Robin. I have here Manhattan's mightiest, fresh off a victory against the... what was his name?
He called himself Molten Man, I think. Before the media gets a hold of him, I just want to say that he's not all that bad once you get to know him. Some experiment gone wrong, mumbo jumbo.
Big Wheel says,
Yes, we hope that Molten Man gets the help he deserves. We've all been in a tough spot like this.
Big Wheel gets a far-off look on his face. Cain scoffs. Spider-Man says, I don't have time for the press junket. He swings off. The reporter turns to the duo.
Jarrett.
Oh, right, okay, 2 back-to-back. Not one for the cameras, huh? Spidey's got a lot on his plate. He fights for the city, so we fight for him. Now, when it comes to commuting around the lava...
The TV mutes. Brett, holding the remote, smiles. Your omelet's burning. Cain looks down, sees the pile of burned eggs, and groans. Don't worry about it. You'll get it in no time. You seem to like those superheroes quite a bit.
I don't know. I feel... fake.
Nah. I appreciate the people who take any chance to help someone, even if it isn't spandex. If you ask me, I wouldn't mind a superhero or two in Ohio. Nothing crazy. Maybe the carpenter whose mighty hammer can build any shelf. He strikes a Thor-like pose with one of his spatulas as a hammer. Fun fact, Eric Allen Kramer played Thor in the Incredible Hulk show from the 70s.
Oh.
Okay. That's cool.
I did not catch that.
My daughter, Bella, she goes to Empire State on some fancy design scholarship. She's had a front row seat to some of those big fights they get up to.
Neat.
She met Spider-Man once when he landed on her dorm window. Her dorm window. I asked Pastor about it once, and he said that Cain half-heartedly listens to this newest quote from Judas, scrubbing burnt egg. Of course, that was after prison. Cain looks up.
You were in prison?
Sure was. 5 years. Armed robbery. A quick trip. Can you believe it?
Not really.
It was hard on us. Amy left me. Bella stuck around, but there's a distance, you know? When I got out, came back to Plainview, it took people a long time to look me in the eye again. Judas helped them to see me as a whole person.
Huh.
When I say you're welcome here, I mean it, Cain. There's a look in your eye. One I saw while I was in lockup. I don't know what you're running from, and I won't ask. But if you treat us right, we'll do the same. Red slaps him on the back. It's what Pastor wants. Cain nods, returning to his scrubbing. Time passes, and life in the town moves as usual. Cain works at Plain Good, meeting many of the townspeople. He has another encounter with Carol, who offers him baked goods for a visit to her house, but he politely declines. He meets Sheriff Jake, his wife Helene, and their son Matthew, the Super Turtles kid from earlier. Jake studies Cain suspiciously, asking him some prodding questions about where he comes from, before Helene placates him with a quote from the current Good Samaritan series. Nick and Tabby Duvall, a young couple, are pleasant whenever they see Cain, but are caught whispering to each other as they walk away. On a visit to Judas' office, he passes Tabby Duvall in the hallway, brushing tears from her eyes.
Does everyone in the town visit with you?
It's never good to have secrets. Come inside.
Cain does spend time by himself. After about a mile outside of the town, in the deep forest surrounding Plainview, Cain sits in a quiet clearing in front of a creek, meditating. His sessions have given him much to think about, and he often sees Dr. Warren's face whenever he closes his eyes. Though, every so often, the pain becomes too much. Around the clearing are trees with holes punched clean through their trunks, and some uprooted from the base. He studies himself in this clearing, remembering his abilities. Organic webs fly from his wrists, giving him the chance to swing through the woods. He stops on certain branches, adopting a Spider-Man-like pose.
Never fear, your friendly neighborhood.
He can't make himself say it. When feeling more violent, he observes his hands. Claws extend and retract from his fingertips. When feeling incredible rage, he will slash the foliage around him like a wild animal, screaming towards the sky. All the while, Cain continues to attend both Judas' sermons on Sunday and their therapy sessions. During a sermon,
Now, I want you all to repeat after me. A good shepherd
tends his flock.
Beautiful. And you?
Uncannily quickly, the congregation cuts in.
Are all sheep without a shepherd,
looking for one to follow.
Well now, you guys were eager. We turned then to...
Cain, still sitting in the back, is shocked to find himself mouthing the words along with the others. He touches his mouth, confused. One day, Judas and Cain are walking in the woods behind the church. Judas is barefoot.
Does anyone in the town disagree? Seems like everybody visits church on Sunday. Does anybody in town just not believe, like in everything?
I find it to be a miracle from God that the church is full every Sunday. I take it as a sign that his word is received and heard by the entire town, my entire town, and I find that beautiful.
But
don't worry, I know what you're going to say. But what about those who doubt? The word pulls them back, as it always does. Mrs. Jennings is the perfect example. Her husband passed some time ago, and was that a dark time. Through prayer and supplication, Carol came back to the light, though I confess that she hasn't been quite the same since losing Mark.
Isn't it
cult-like?
Unusual.
The Spirit of God will seem unusual to much of the outside world.
Many parts make up one whole body, so it is with the body of Christ.
Beautiful words.
And Christ is the head of the church, right?
In a perfect world, yes.
People here seem to think that that's your position, though.
Cain keeps walking, but Judas pauses. Flash of something. Maybe skepticism. Maybe offense. Crosses his face.
They know the truth.
And the truth shall make you free.
Cain marches ahead, leaving Judas to consider their conversation. Cut to the diner, where a "Welcome Home, Bella" banner now hangs. Brett stands outside, holding a homemade cake with a fondant camera on the top. Cain is inside, working the counter. Car pulls up to the door, and Bella steps out, immediately running to hug her father. She is played by Sophia Lillis. And this is Bella Fischbach. Her name comes from a minor character from the Dan Slott run, hence the name. Cain sees the greeting, flashes back to hugging Uncle Ben, and puts his head down. Brett and Bella re-enter the store. Cain, can I trouble you for some plates?
No problem, sir.
The duo gets settled. I'd like to introduce you both. Bella, this is Cain. He's taken on a lot of the cooking work you abandoned. Brett winks and Bella rolls her eyes.
It's nice to meet you, Cain.
Bella here is obsessed with travel photography. She's loved it for years. She's going to be the next Crystal White.
She's a Nat Geo photographer. The way she captures mountains is incredible. It's just, when you're in nature, you're staring at a piece of art. You can't capture nature, but you can try to remember it. That's how I view my photography.
Isn't she incredible? Cain smiles at the pair as he flips a sausage.
How long are you visiting?
I'm here the whole summer. And then after that, just back to NYC.
Brett says you met Spider-Man.
No, I did not meet Spider-Man. He crashed into my window while I was trying to get a still life and messed up my entire lighting setup. Till he makes it up to me, we're mortal enemies.
I'm sure he's a great guy once you get to know him. Cain scoffs.
What's your story, Cain?
Cain glances up nervously. He self-consciously tries to duck and hide his scars.
Nothing important.
Brett catches the vibe and intercepts. Just passing through. He makes a mean omelet.
I like omelets.
Pastor Judas has been looking after him. He's good like that. At the mention of Judas, the tone changes. Bella glances between the two men.
Ah, so Judas is still in town?
Pastor Judas? Don't see why he wouldn't be.
I was just thinking he might have, I don't know, moved on since then. Someone like him seems like he doesn't fit into a town this small. I don't know.
And we're glad he's here, of course. Isn't that right, Cain?
Mm-hmm.
Now, cake. While Bella's at the diner, most of the town stops by to welcome her back. The younger crowd, Helene and Matthew, even Judas. Bella pulls back from the pastor, almost imperceptibly, but Cain clocks it. He needs time to himself. Transition to the wooded clearing. Cain paces back and forth. The buzzing in his head increases until he punches through a tree trunk. The tree, with a massive chunk missing, topples forwards, disturbing the quiet of the forest. Suddenly, Cain's eyes narrow, and he leaps upwards out of frame. Bella strolls into the clearing with her camera on her hip. Initially easygoing, she is surprised to find the trees surrounding her peppered with dents and holes. She starts taking pictures of each before studying one of the craters more closely. Cain, in one of the canopies, holds his breath. He makes an embarrassed grimace, seeing all the destruction around him. Then, he makes a decision. He steels himself and drops from the tree. Bella yelps.
Sorry.
Sorry? Hi, why are you sorry? Were you in the tree?
She glances upwards.
Sorry for the trees.
The trees? What?
I hurt them. This is my fault. I'm sorry.
Bella blinks.
I don't follow.
To demonstrate, Cain hoists the fallen log that he'd knocked over earlier onto his shoulder. Bella's mouth gapes. He sets it down gingerly.
I didn't know that somebody else used this clearing. It's nice and quiet, and I'm sorry for wrecking it.
You're...
Please don't spread the news. I just wanted to apologize. It's the responsible thing to do. Somebody told me that once.
Bella sits down hard on a stump, staring at nothing.
No, yeah, that's fine. Thank you for the apology. Cool.
Cain shifts awkwardly.
Are you freaked out?
Well, that explains why you're here. You're a superhuman on the run.
Well,
It makes sense. This is an easy place for you to disappear. With how many keep popping up in New York, it's bound to start happening around the world. Like a new strain of the flu or something.
Cain glares.
I didn't mean that, I'm sorry. You're nothing like the flu.
apology accepted.
Don't worry, I won't tell anyone. Dad seems to think you can cook pretty well. And I don't think anyone who can cook that good could be all that bad, you know?
Is that your moral standard?
No, of course not. Well, if you think about it, being able to create means that you care. You pay attention to details in the world around you. With your omelets and my pictures, we both take ingredients, like eggs or sunlight, and make something new. Hopefully, something beautiful. Beauty doesn't come from someone who despises the world around them.
I guess so.
Silence.
So you're sure you won't tell?
Would you like to see some of my pictures?
Okay.
Cain sits on the stump next to Bella as she begins to scroll through her camera roll.
My focal subject at the moment is trees. There's something so characterful about them. Each one seems like their own person with their own story. I do my best to capture their unique perspective on the world.
The two look through some of Bella's gorgeous photos, displaying incredible mastery of light and shadow in each of the frames. She has photos of maples, oaks, birches, etc.
My favorites are cedars. They're so stately.
Cain nods appreciatively. As he looks at Bella, there is another quick flashback, but this one isn't painful. Through Kane's POV, we see 3 and 4, Ben and Jessica, sitting on a bench in the dojo, the training area for the clones. 3 makes some joke which sends 4 into hysterical laughter. Kaine shakes his head before 1 steps up and offers his hand. It's time. Kaine shakes his head. Bella is still scrolling but stops when she finds a picture of herself and her father, Brett. They are in front of a gorilla enclosure, banging their chests.
Where is that from?
The Cincinnati Zoo a few years ago.
Remember Harambe?
Oh.
Oh my gosh. That come out of nowhere.
The Cincinnati Zoo a few years ago, before he was arrested. Mom took this photo.
It's funny.
It is. I miss my dad, Cain.
What do you mean? He seems all right to me.
He's the best he's been in years, don't get me wrong. I'm so happy that he's out, but...
She makes direct eye contact with Cain, spooking him.
No one here is how I remember them. They're not themselves. They're being controlled somehow.
By Pastor Judas?
So you get it.
No, I just remember how you looked at the diner.
Well...
Why don't you trust him?
Bella stands and stares into the woods.
I don't think he has the best intentions. He gives these platitudes and encouragements, but there's nothing behind them. No substance. It's like he's just trying to pacify the audience instead of giving them anything worth listening to. When my dad was arrested, I asked Judas for advice, for prayer, for anything. He gave me nothing. Just things like, keep praying, and it'll all work out. I left for college that summer, and it was like this fog lifted, like I could finally breathe for myself.
You're all sheep without a shepherd, looking for one to follow.
With a start, Cain touches his mouth.
You didn't mean to say that, did you?
He shakes his head. Bella pulls Cain to his feet.
You can't trust him, Cain. He's doing something to this town, and I don't like it.
But he can't be lying. Not about everything.
I don't know, Cain.
She breathes.
I don't know what's true about any of what he says or what he preaches. If those words can be used to control so many people like that, how can they be good?
If they're beautiful?
I never said that beautiful things couldn't be twisted by evil people.
She places a hand on Cain's shoulder. He's clearly pretty shaken.
Your secret's safe with me, I promise. We can look out for each other while I'm in town. Deal?
Cain nods. More time passes. Cain's visions are getting worse. He's trapped within the void of his experience nearly every night, almost always ending up back in the lab. Judas keeps prodding, keeps offering scripture, but nothing is working. It feels like his brain wants to kill him or beat him into submission. A bright spot is Bella and Brett. The father-daughter duo work to make Cain feel as welcome as can be. As Bella is in town for summer vacation, the trio are nigh inseparable. They often go on drives to pick up supplies for the diner, and Bella blasts her playlists. Our dance scene for the film is Bella and Brett in the front seat of Brett's truck, car dancing to Bend Me, Shape Me by the American Breed. Bend me, shape me any way you want me. Song suggestion from my wife, actually. Cain, in the back seat, leans out the window with a smile on his face. For Cain, he can see a healthy familial relationship at work. For Bella, she can see her dad in a more normal light to see that he's still fine. And for Brett, he sees a strong friendship being built. One day, on a busy morning at the diner, filled with chatter and conversation, Judas comes in for breakfast.
How are you doing this fine morning, Mr. Cain?
Fine, Pastor. What can I get you?
The usual. Been burning the midnight oil on my next sermon series. Looking forward to our next meeting.
Judas eats his breakfast, drinks his coffee, and leaves. It's only then that Cain notices that, while Judas was in the diner, the conversation completely stopped. As if a sheet is lifted, the chatter gradually begins again, leaving the young man stunned. Cain begins to pay closer attention to the townsfolk during the church services. Verses are repeated verbatim with no pauses. No one speaks while Judas preaches. No one breaks eye contact. No one except himself, Bella, and Carol Jennings. It might be time to visit.
Hi guys, Andy here. If you were here last time, you'll understand me when I say they did it again. If you weren't here last time, we don't normally split these into 2 parts, but as time's gone on, the scripts have been getting longer, so this one came out about part and parcel as long as Solo did, so it made sense for us to cut this one up as well. Hope that's okay. It's really good so far, isn't it? It's really good. Good job, Noah. This is sick. Yeah, we'll be back either next week or in 2 weeks. I need to double check with the boys, but sit tight. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back before you know it. See ya.